It's a very exciting time for all ASAP Rocky fans because it looks like we might have a new album on our hands very soon. And in today's video, we're going to be taking you through everything we know about Rocky's new album called Don't Be Dumb, from the album Rollout to the features and collaborators and much more. So make sure to hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. But Ant, how do you feel about the Rollout so far?
Oh man, I've been enjoying it, and it's honestly nice to see that Rocky's coming through with a lot of purpose here, and that he actually wants to release something that's going to inspire the youth, as he says. But let's get this started, all right? Let's go to September 2022, where Rocky did a Grim interview magazine. It was like this kind of like fake Rolling Stone cover that he ended up posting up on his IG. And then what was cool about it is that if you pay attention to the bottom right corner, it said last show before the album, and it gets you thinking like, okay, what is he talking about? Was it Rolling Loud New York? And I guess that's what it was kind of meant for, but obviously that was a fucking lie because he ended up doing the Amazon show, which we're going to be getting into, don't worry, in this episode. But how did you like that? Like, the first piece of indication comes from his IG story.
It was pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of got the gears back in motion, but he's been hinting at this album fucking forever. I mean, back in May of 2021, he did that whole GQ interview, said the album was 90% done, but nothing ever came out of it. But I mean, at least the Rolling Loud incident kind of, gave us that funny meme of him kind of like trying to get out of the mosh pit, which was hilarious. So at least that came out of it. But if you actually go forward to December 5th of 2022, we got something very interesting from a Complex magazine interview where he said that with this new album, he wants to be more creative and forward-thinking and inspire other people to do the same with their music. So it kind of seems like he's getting a bit tired of what he's hearing out of the hip-hop scene. And within that same interview, he also said that the album was coming very soon. And then a day later, December 6th, he seemed to have confirmed the title of this album, and this was for a trailer that he did for his Amazon Music Live performance. And within that, you can kind of see through the visuals the title of Don't Be Dumb, and next to it, you also saw Grim being written. So at that point, we're like, okay, is it going to be called Grim? Is it going to be called Don't Be Dumb? But we got one more word about that later on. But what did you feel about the Thursday Night Football commercial?
Well, that was pretty crazy because that was kind of like the nail in the coffin and like kind of saying like the album is done now, like we have this completed. Then he's like, album finished, don't be dumb, let's go. So it's kind of like, okay, now we're starting to get a bit more hints about the Don't Be Dumb brand.
And how do you feel about that title of Don't Be Dumb?
Overall smiles, like it was kind of like the other placeholder. I like it. I think it's cool. I mean, like Rocky always has this super energetic and youthful vibe to his music. So if that's the branding he wants to go with for this new album, I'm all ears with this. But let's go into the actual Amazon Live performance on December 8th. And this is when we got sneak previews of maybe some new tracks that might be making the album. We had gotten 3 different tracks. One of them was Roddy Piper. We had gotten Mushroom Clouds featuring Reggie and Same Problems, which was a tribute track to all kinds of rappers that ended up unfortunately passing away, and all completely different vibes. So what do you want to start with,
I mean, let's start off with Mushroom Clouds. That gave you the classic psychedelic lo-fi type of vibe from Rocky, and hearing Reggie's vocals on that sounded amazing as well. So that was kind of more your classic Rocky. And then you got something like Roddy Piper that was more energetic. It was more in your face and aggressive. So that can maybe be the Lord Pretty Flacco Joydy 2 of this album. Just something that's, a head-knocking banger.
Yeah, did you see the crowd, like, while that was being performed?
Nuts.
People were going crazy for it. And I love all the songs, guys, that ended up being previewed. If you guys have not seen them, they're up on our Twitter if you guys want to go see.
And he also put up the Same Problems performance on his YouTube, so you can see the full performance of that. Really touching and heartwarming song. And it's just cool to see Rocky kind of maturing, it seems like. But let's get into the features and collaborators of this album, because that's always a big talking point when you're talking about a Rocky track list. And the most interesting thing that came out of this was Rocky revealing that Metro Boomin was going to have a very crucial role to play on this fucking album. He said this. He said, let me put it to you like this. This next album needs to just be called Flacco Boomin'. You hear me?
Yeah, that's going to be incredible.
How do you feel about that?
I think it's going to be awesome.
They just dropped Feel the Fire.
Exactly. And not only that, but that's a collaboration I've been wanting to hear for a while now. Like, we had gotten, collaboration albums with people like Nav and people like Big Sean where, let's say Metro was at the helm of the production, and Metro was always the biggest standout of those projects. But the thing is that now you have A$AP Rocky to play into that mold, and someone as creative as Metro, someone that's as tapped in as Metro for this new generation, while still, providing these really lush trap drums while still giving you the most unique soundscapes in all of hip-hop. I think that could go perfectly well with ASAP Rocky. So huge W in
And it
my
can
books.
kind of give him a new sound, like we saw in Fuel the Fire, where you had this amazing progressive beat that had, elements of soul with the sample, as well as these, really hard knocking drums. So it's going to be cool to see how those two worlds mesh. But I mean, Metro Boomin's like the fucking best working producer in the industry right now,
Absolutely.
arguably. So it's an amazing move for Rocky.
It is. So
without
let's
a
talk
doubt.
about Tyler, the Creator, though. We didn't forget this. Tyler is actually supposed to be on the album, and I believe this was like hinted, at the beginning of the year, ASAP Rocky.
More towards June.
Yeah, Rocky was talking about, Tyler actually having an influence on the project and him really helping him out with it. So I don't know if that's going to be production, sequencing, writing. Who knows what happens? We might see a return for Tyler, the Creator, on this album.
And it's been
I
a
would
while
love
since
it.
they've collabed, bro. Like, we're still waiting on the Wang
was-
Sap album, but
yeah, I mean, like Potato Salad was maybe the last thing you actually.
2018 or 2019. Well, mind
Yeah.
you did get a Lost and Found freestyle off of the Nego album, but that was a cut from 2019,
But that
I
could,
believe.
but that could also maybe be a bit of an indicator of maybe getting something else for 2023. We'll see. We'll see if it ends up happening. And then of course you had Reggie on Mushroom Cloud, so I guess that's actually locked in. But let's go back to that May 2021 interview with GQ where he said he was going to have Morrissey from the Smiths and Rihanna on the album. Do you think that still makes it?
He hinted at Rihanna being on the album. He didn't say so, but I mean, fuck yeah. Give me a sung chorus by Rihanna. I mean, that would sound fantastic, especially if, I'll get into this more later, if it is the love tale that he described it being back in 2021. I think that she can kind of play well and have some good dialogue with Rocky maybe. So that could be interesting. And Morrissey from the Smiths, I mean, we've seen Rocky kind of dive into a rock aesthetic before with At Long Last ASAP, and if he's going to be maybe the Joe Fox of this album, that could be very interesting
That
too.
could be very interesting. But let's get into the actual direction of this album because ASAP Rocky always has a very concise vision for the way that he likes to roll out these albums, especially within the music and production styles. So going back to testing in 2018, the biggest selling point of the album was that he was going to completely switch up his sound from the traditional chop and screw productions you were getting or the traditional psychedelic sounds you were getting from something like At Long Last ASAP. And it was well achieved. I think the track list was fantastic, but I think we're all hungry for a super big ASAP Rocky return. And what I like about this too is that he's kind of speaking already about the influence of the album, talking about he wants this to be a reset, for the industry. He wants this to inspire the youth. He wants to bring something, creative to the table. And already it's getting me hyped for this. So what do you want out of Rocky at this point? Especially that it was supposed to come this year. Now it looks like it's coming next year. What are you craving out of a new Rocky album?
Man, I mean, I'm just happy that Rocky himself said that he's going to be experimenting more than he did on testing. So the fact that like he'll never box himself into one sound and just keep evolving that sound and bringing new elements, that has me super excited. I think that it'd be cool for Rocky to bring some of that punk culture that he's brought in previous albums, maybe going in with more of a rock punk aesthetic from the 2000s or 90s could be interesting, especially if you're going to have Morrissey's influence on here. That could be really cool. But I want to see, Rocky tap into a darker side of his sound, maybe going, going back to something like he did on At Long Last ASAP, where you have these dark tempos and some lo-fi production. So we'll have to see what ends up happening there. That could be cool, but I'm interested in kind of just his writing and his approach now because it's been 4 years. He's grown as a person. He's a father now. He had a crazy experience in Sweden. So it would be cool to kind of give us, I love like true stories that come out of songs. So if he can get into a storytelling bag and actually give us a first-person account of, let's say, what happened there or what's been going on in his life and where his head's at. So yeah, I just want him to get more introspective on this album if that's possible. I think that would be super cool. And like I mentioned earlier, he mentioned that this album might be a ghetto love tale. So I'd like to kind of be embraced into a cinematic world with this listen, and the visuals are gonna go crazy. The music videos are gonna be fire, and that the branding and aesthetic of this project is gonna be unlike anything else you're gonna get all year long. So it's gonna be cool to see. But before we go into the first week sales, what are 3 features you want to see that haven't been, let's say, announced yet?
Okay, 3 features that I'd like to see on here. If it gets super dark, honestly, Michi Darko maybe. Like
Fire.
He's someone that I could see maybe blending really well with ASAP over there. My second, maybe someone like a Denzel Curry, bro, could do super well on this as well. Like super versatile artist, could write out an array of different types of productions. Super introspective as well. So maybe Denzel Curry. Another artist that I'd like to see, Man, get him someone like Smino, something to get like a nice lightheartedness to the track list where like, maybe he slotted in midway through. I don't know, just kind of a bit of fandom on the side. But how about you?
Yeah.
3 different features you'd
Three
like to
different
see.
features I'd like to see. I would say Travis Scott. I mean, we've been waiting
Oh,
for this feature.
that's always been a lot.
I know.
The biggest want from the hip hop community at this point
Is
is
the
getting,
Travis and Rocky
yeah,
together?
if you have to put your money, do you think you're ever seeing it?
I don't know. Probably not, but I like to stay hopeful. So Travis Scott is one of the artists I'd like to see. Another one would probably have to be, I would say Kid Cudi. I love Cudi to have some vocals on here. And then last but not least, give me another Frank Ocean performance. I mean, I love what they did on Testing together, so that would be cool. But yeah, I just want Rocky to have fun, bro, and do shit he hasn't done before. Like something like Sundress, for example. When I first heard that song, I didn't even know it was a Rocky song. I want that feeling back for this album.
It was completely out of his realms, and yet it sounded so good.
Yeah.
But, all right, let's get into these first week sales, all right? So Rocky sells well. He actually has a really good track record when it comes to first week sales. When it came to Long Live ASAP, that sold 139,000 copies first week. When it came to At Long Last ASAP, that was his biggest debut when it came to his first week sales. 146,000 copies sold first week. And then his most recent first week outing was with Testing with 75,000 copies sold. And what's interesting is that there's kind of like a bit of a decline from, At Long Last to Testing, but I think the hype is bigger than ever, baby. If Metro Boomin is getting over 180, I think Rocky could get over 140. I'm being honest.
So what are you giving? 140?
I think around that 140 mark.
I'm going to go with 120. I think he'll do better than Testing, but maybe not reach the highs of the hype that he had, let's say, in 2015.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see. I think that people are hungry for new Rocky. It's been such a long time. We know how charismatic and refreshing his sound would be in 2023. And yeah, it's kind of how I want to wrap things up. Like, when do you think we're actually going to get this thing? My guess, because he's been really adamant about saying it's coming soon, January 2023.
You think January?
I think he
2023
opens up the
month?
fucking the year with a bang, bro.
Wow,
That's
crazy.
what I think.
Okay, so
You?
listen, I hope you're fucking right. No, I wouldn't go that far. I would probably say more or less around like March, beginning of
Really?
April.
Sheesh.
Beginning of April.
It's a long time from now.
But I mean, like, he still has another 2 months of good rollout that he could do.
He
Like,
does.
think about it. For now, it's just been little teases here and there. You're still kind of like unaware of what's going on. So like,
He's literally playing you songs that are going to be on the album.
I know,
though,
but how
you
many
know?
people do that with their albums? Like, they'll obviously want to test some live material out at concerts. But guys, let me know how hyped you are for this ASAP Rocky album down in the comments section. It's going to be a ridiculously cool rollout. I mean, already the visuals are stunning. A lot of the material we've been hearing is absolutely incredible. So stay tuned with us. If you guys are new to NFR podcast, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching this, and we'll catch you in the next one.